Hello friends, it's Nancy from Astrology and Angel Mediums today with another tarot spread video. I know it's been a while since I've posted one, and this is going to be a longer 10 card spread. I really hope that it's something that you can utilize. I think that this is a great time of year to use this kind of spread, especially if you're someone like me. I have a couple of small businesses, so it's always nice to kind of start doing some of that business planning. So this is called the business planning spread. As I typically do with these tarot spread videos, I'm going to be using the Learning Tarot cards by Witchy Cauldron. And all right, let's get into what we have to discover here. I could have sworn that this had 2 extra cards, and I don't know if they're both in there, so yeah, that's both. All right, so let's shuffle. I haven't used this deck in so long, I think since the last time I posted a video for a tarot spread. And again, you don't have to just use tarot cards. You can use whatever deck you feel comfortable utilizing. Again, you know, do what you want to do. There are no rules ever. That's so funny. The Hierophant wants to pop out. It's like, hello. All right, because we're learning, right? I'm teaching and we're learning, or I'm learning with you guys. All right, so let's get into this. So again, 10 cards, going to be pretty big. I'm going to try to make it all fit. We'll see if it works. So very first card is going to be, what is my purpose or calling? And here we have the 3 of Pentacles reversed already. These decks always call me out. All right, so card number 2 is going to be, how can I bring my calling into my business? Here we have the 6 of Swords reverse. Oh my goodness. All right, so card number 3 is going to be, how can I get the greatest fulfillment from my business? So here we have the 5 of Wands reversed. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's shuffle these a little bit more. I don't even think I'm going to be able to fit all 10 cards on here, but we'll see. All right, so card number 4 is going to be, how can I offer authentic value to my customers? We have the Death card reversed. Oh my goodness, this is so silly. All right, let's move that up a little bit, and then we'll kind of go. I was trying to make it all cute, but it doesn't work if I try to make it cute, huh? All right, so card number 5 is, what products or services should I offer? Here we have the King of Pentacles, upright, finally. Okay, card number 6 is going to be, where do I need to focus my business in the next 1 to 2 months? We have the Star reversed. All right, card number 7 is going to be, where do I need to focus my business for the next 6 to 12 months? Here we have the Knight of Pentacles reversed. My goodness. All right, card number 8 is going to be, what is the future potential of my business? Here we have the 6 of Pentacles reversed. And card number 9 is going to be, what new opportunities exist? Here's going to be Strength reversed. And card number 10, which you can put at the bottom, but I'm going to put off to the side just so like it will fit on screen, is overall, where is my business heading in the next 6 to 12 months? We have the Lovers reversed. My goodness, these cards are so goofy. Now I'm going to try to see if you guys can see everything. I always say I'm going to use like a smaller deck. I have like a mini tarot, which probably would be a better fit for like these really large spreads. But it is what it is. Let's see if we can just kind of zoom a little bit. Okay, I can't really see what's on screen right now, but we'll see what happens. So, all right. So again, card number 1 is going to be, what is my purpose or calling? So this is the part where I'm going to kind of do a sample reading according to what I have going on with me, and kind of let you know what's going on and how this translates as a reading to maybe help you in your own practice. So again, what is my purpose or calling? Here we have the Three of Pentacles. So this card is talking about wasting time, lack of ambition, delays, disappointment, paltry effort. So kind of rude how it's calling me out. And I think that this is almost saying like maybe the energy of the things that I've done. And I will admit, I have worked so many different fields, so many different types of jobs, so many different things. I am in human design, I'm a manifesting generator. So I am very much a person that has my hands in a lot of different pots and has had a lot of different lives, so to speak. There's only been really one common thread with everything is that I love to be of service to others in different ways. And then the other thread is that I really want to be a person that is doing work that feels important and significant to me on an individual level. It doesn't mean like it has to be something crazy or whatever or life-changing for anybody else, but to me it just has to feel good in my bones and in my, you know, kind of like where I'm showing up with things. So I think it's interesting to get this reversed because as someone that maybe when I look at like my resume and seeing all of the different things I've done, it does look very much like I've wasted my time trying different things. I've worked in accounting, I've worked in nonprofit, I've worked in education, I've worked in the military, I've worked in biomedical, I've worked in research, I've worked in emergency response, I've worked in regulatory compliance. I've worked, I actually worked for a little bit in like a vinyl place. I've worked cleaning. I have done readings. I have worked in retail. I have worked in the food industry. So a lot of the things that I have done have been literally all over the fucking place. And I think that this is kind of talking about like a lack of ambition, delays, disappointment, paltry effort. So sometimes I look at the things that I've done and I kind of feel like maybe I haven't really done enough. And even when I think of like my business with my readings and things like that, I kind of feel like there's so much more I could have done with it when it was much larger. Like, and granted, my following is still very large on Instagram. I'm not saying that it's large on TikTok. That's fine. But I never wanted to be known and famous and whatever for it. Like, that's not something I've chased after. And so I feel like a big part of me has like rejected a lot of different opportunities because I've kind of felt like it's uncomfortable for me. So I think maybe this is what I was talking about. It's like, girl, you're over here, you're just like, just playing. Like, quit playing around, do something that you love, you know, quit farting around basically. Like, maybe my purpose or my calling, maybe it needs to be the upright of the Three of Pentacles, which is about teamwork, which again, that's very much in alignment with what I'm talking about with like working in service, my goodness, I can't speak today. Apprenticeship. I feel like that's wrong. Learning, studying, growing, hard work, commitment, building on success, collaboration, teamwork, determination, goals, dedication, quality, attention to detail, tradesperson, achievements, recognition, and reward. So I think that maybe I pulled it reverse because it's kind of saying like I'm not looking at it the right way or through the right lens. And that is something I have been experiencing a little bit. It's not so much like, maybe it is imposter syndrome, or I'm kind of like, I'm not good enough in some ways, or I'm not X enough or Y enough or Z enough. And so I put in all these excuses of whatever. I'm like, I'm just trying to do this one little thing. And I think that maybe this is kind of talking about like my purpose or my calling is really in teamwork. I am someone who is very willing to collaborate, willing to educate, willing to show others the way of like what I've learned, how I'm managing things, what I'm fucking doing. And that doesn't always sit well with a lot of people because maybe they feel like it's not coming from a place of like what I really mean, which is very much a place of like authenticity and like trying to be like, let me help you up, girl. I'm up here. Let me get you up here too. So I think maybe they don't all need to be reversed. You know what, let's check. And this is a good little thing for practice too. If you use a pendulum, I like to use a pendulum to kind of make sure we're on the right page. So that one is a yes. That's a no. All right, so we're gonna flip around whichever ones is telling me no. So that's a flippy one. That one's fine. That's a flippy one. So I don't think I've shared this on here yet, how to use a pendulum. I do love to use a pendulum for my practice because it kind of helps me just ensure. Sometimes we pull things wrong and that's okay. So I'd rather read it the right way. So I should have done that before I even started. I usually pause the video and do it off camera, but there you go. You're also getting a little bit of like how I do my pendulum, but I can also do a video. I just didn't know how like that was going to film, and I have an aversion of being viewed and perceived. It's my own thing. I'm working through it, girl. We can only do what we can do. So since we confirmed that card number 2 is actually going to be reversed. Oh, come on. No, don't be. You know what? I'm going to have to edit this video so much. Okay. So card number 2 is how can I bring my calling into my business? And so here we have the 6 of Swords. It's talking about trouble coming out of the frying pan into fire, lack of progress. So I think that this card, in a lot of ways, really illustrates the struggles that I have had in trying to find my niche and feel comfortable with it, and to allow myself to move into something and allow myself to be successful at it. And it sounds really funny, like saying it out loud, because these are things that like I recognize and realize about me, myself, and I, but it's not really something that I like to kind of explain and share with others. So these cards are always calling me out, and that is very rude. So this is talking about how can I bring my calling into my business. So I think that maybe this is kind of saying like I haven't really allowed myself to really be as calm and as healing, and to allow progress to really be the part of like what I'm doing. I will say I tend to kind of self-sabotage a lot of my own things, and so with my other business, it's been going very well for the last year, and I've kind of looked at it as like, how is it still going so well? And I think a lot of it has been that I just don't really put a lot of thought into it, if that makes sense. It's like there's a lot of planning and a lot of strategy, but there's not a lot of like, I have to put, I don't know. I think I put a lot of pressure on myself when it comes to like the readings and things of that nature, because it's so easy to compare. It's so easy to get in a little bit of like a mental loop of like, I'm not good enough, or I'm not talented enough, or I'm not, you know, whatever it is. It's kind of like what I was saying with like the 3 of Pentacles over here. So with the 6 of Swords, we have, you know, this talking about how can I bring my calling into my business, is that I'm going to have trouble with it because I'm not allowing myself to really overcome the things that have held me back. I'm not moving away from those things. It's like maybe I'm too emotionally and mentally and anxiously attached to certain things. And so I don't let myself really enjoy it, or really let myself let it be what it can be. It's like, and that is something I've been really struggling with the last like year of, you know, should I just shut all of my stuff down? Because it costs me money to run my business at this point. It's not generating the sort of income that it once did. And a lot of it has to do with like my limitation on time, my lack of energy, me wanting to kind of focus a little bit more on like the teaching element like this, where it's free, it's open, it's not behind a paywall, which I understand. You know, we all have to make our coins, and I'm making my coins in another way. So I don't feel like it's that big push of like, I have to keep doing these things in this one way in order to feel successful. So I totally get it. It's fine. We're not going to talk shit about it. All right. All right. So I think like this is maybe just kind of saying like I haven't really gotten clear on things, and maybe I'm mentally hanging on to certain, you know, expectations that really don't translate into what is actually happening in my day-to-day life. So card number 3 is going to be, how can I get the greatest fulfillment from my business? And here we have the 5 of Wands, which is a card about conflict, fighting, arguments, disagreements, struggle, opposition, battles, aggression, temper, you know, being defensive, territorial, assertive. It's interesting, right? Because it's talking about how can I get the greatest fulfillment from my business? And it's talking about all of this aggressive kind of going out there, which I would have thought that this would have stayed reversed, right? Because that would make more sense. But if I think of this energy, is that we have Saturn and we have Leo. My rising sign in my astrological chart is actually Leo rising. I do have Saturn in Libra in the 3rd house. It's very much about communication, very much. And my Saturn is actually conjunct Pluto, and they are both retrograde. So I tend to be very much in my head about stuff. I have a lot of mental conflict. I have a lot of like challenges when it comes to feeling like I can really truly express myself in some ways. When I started my reading business back in like 2012, I believe it was, I really wanted to kind of be out there in a way that felt very comfortable for me. So I was very anonymous, very like not sharing anything about me personally. It was more about like my spiritual journey and things of that nature, and like what I had learned and what I was doing and what I was interested in. And so it felt very much like this sort of energy of like trying to kind of get out there and do something different. The big thing with this energy here is that how can I get the greatest fulfillment for my business? This is talking about struggle. And it's interesting because a lot of people would look at struggle as like a negative term to describe fulfillment. But as someone that has not had the easiest time or the smoothest ride or a lot of opportunities or a lot of like doors opening whenever I want, I do tend to be a little bit uneasy when things do go smoothly or when things do go my way. It's like I love to go into life with like a positive expectancy, but more often than not, it's not something that I'm continuously receiving, if that makes sense. And so it makes it a little bit challenging to be very like, everything is always going to be great and good, and everyone is going to see the value in me and value me as an individual and blah, 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 blah. So I think it's very interesting to have this card in this position upright, having switched it from the reversed meaning. So I think it's maybe saying like, I will always be someone that like needs to have that like clashing, that like being territorial, like being assertive or whatever. And I do tend to be that way. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm like perfect. I'm not. I tend to be very like, I want to do what's right. I tend to be a little bit defensive on stuff. I do realize that. I do tend to, you know, insert eye roll on certain things that I see, especially like with the expansion of things like witch talk and whatever, where there's these people that are just literally making content. I mean, and that's really what it is. And I'm not going to talk too much shit here, but you know, basically I always tell people, I'm like, always check in with yourself first. Always, you know, refer back to things that feel true to you. Don't just do things without having an understanding of how it may affect all of the things in your life. Be very mindful of where and how you are expending your energy. I'll just leave it at that. Cool. All right, move on to card number 4. So here we have, how can I offer authentic value to my customers? So here I have Death. One of my favorite cards, actually. It always has been. It's one of these things that's very interesting because I know it's like one of these cards that really tends to scare people. So Death is about spiritual transformation, new beginnings, letting go, transitions, sudden and unexpected shifts, releasing, cleansing, purging, stripping away the worthless matter, liberation through purging. And so this is talking about how I can offer authentic value to my customers. I think a lot of what I've had to do is very much about letting myself go and releasing myself as like a person from the work. I don't put any of myself into the work that I'm doing. I can do a reading and then I won't even remember what the fuck I talked about. So I'm willing to let go of the past version of myself. And I feel like anyone that works in this spiritual space has to be very much receptive and open to the different ways that you will change, the different things you have to learn to release about your understanding, about your beliefs, about who you are as an individual and the things that go on in your life. And it's not so much about just being like, oh, I'm chill about this or whatever. Some deaths can be very challenging. They're not going to be easy. I think that this is really talking about, you know, really showing up in this energy of just like releasing the things that don't really make sense for who I am and who I'm trying to be in my business. All right, card number 5. So what products or services could I offer? So here we have the King of Pentacles, which is security. It's, you know, being successful, wealthy business person, bettering yourself, you know, thriving, high status, stability, security, enterprising, someone preoccupied with financial matters. I will say I am very much a Taurus in that. I love my coins. I love having, you know, the opportunity and possibility of having financial stability. I don't do well when I don't have it. I tend to have a lot of stress when it comes to financial matters and things like that. I'm working on it, girl. I'm working on it. It's not easy. It's hard. You know, I have to like really chill out on some stuff when it comes to what I believe is possible for myself, when it comes to like, oh, I'm never gonna, you know, have this, or it's never gonna be like this. And with everything going on and the world just getting more and more expensive, it can be very challenging to not lose a sense of hope or kind of feel like there's not going to be a lot of possibilities for me to have some of the things that I would like to have in my life. But we do what we can. So I think with this being, what did I call it? Yeah. So what products or services could I offer is really talking about maybe that stability, that security, that showing up, being consistent, being determined, maybe a little bit stubborn with things. I will say in my other business, it's very much about consistency and showing up and, you know, being very grounded in the work that I do and providing a service that is excellent every single time, no matter what else is going on in my life, and not making it more complicated than it needs to be. So I can be very much like a grounded male energy in that sort of work, because I can be very just like, I'm here to do what I need to do. I get in, I get out, and then I just move on. Like, pay me, and then I'll see you next time. All right, so card number 6. So where do I need to focus my business in the next 1 to 2 months? So this is the Star. This is another major card. It talks about the universe shows me that I can have faith in my dreams. So this is really talking about maybe having that hope, that recognition, that inspiration, creativity, that calmness, you know, really having faith in the future, happiness, helping others. One of the things I've been trying to do with my other businesses, I'm trying to do a food drive currently. I'm trying to do possibly another offering of a free service for someone in need. It's just, I've been really busy, so I haven't really had the time to do it, but we're working on it, because that was one of the tenets of why I wanted to do what I'm doing currently, is to really show up for community and help those that really need it. And another thing that I would like to do is to have a sense of what else can I do with what I'm currently doing? How can I maybe help somebody else? I've already mentored like one other person. I'm not sure if they did anything with what I did, but that's okay. And I did it for free. It wasn't anything. I've tried to show other people how to do it. I've donated, you know, a lot of different things. Other elements that I would like to kind of tune into is maybe like working with other organizations that offer some of the things that like I'm trying to do. So I think that that is very much where I am trying to focus my business in that energy and like how I can show up for people in that way. Card number 7 is where do I need to focus my business in the next 6 to 12 months? So here we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is all about routine. Again, like I said, my other business, the one that is very much taking off at the current moment, is very much about patience. It's about, you know, really being like reliable, hardworking, you know, traveling. I travel a lot for my other work because it's not a work from home sort of thing. I'm working in people's homes. It's being very much like building and establishing that trust with my clients. It's about, you know, really showing up for them in a different way. And a lot of them are routine clients, maintenance clients. So I am doing a lot of like similar things. There's a lot of a lot of pentacles here. So that's very funny to me. So I think it's really talking about, you know, showing up in that energy and trying to work through a lot of things. Because the other work that I do is very physical, physically demanding. And it was a way for me to kind of like work through a lot of my grief previously. It helped me so much. Right now, I think that it's not only helping me work through some emotional blockages that I have, it's allowing me to see a different way of life that is so much easier to me, if that makes sense, even if the work is not easier, if that makes sense. All right, so card number 8 is going to be, what is the future potential for my business? So here we have the 6 of Pentacles, which is about gifts, generosity, charity, donations, money, community, assistance, support, employment, sharing, kindness, wealth, prosperity, power, authority, control, investors, giving, receiving, gratitude, being valued, and being well paid. I do love this. I do love the energy of this 6 of Pentacles being not reversed. I do love that this is what I'm trying to work towards, is to have a beautiful, balanced life that, you know, allows me to be successful, to be financially stable, to be able to share with others, to build community in different ways. And it is one of the things I've been working on. I've even, with other people that have a similar business to mine in the same area that I work in. And they've been surprised because I have come at them with like a very, I just want to work with you. I don't see you as competition. I want to lift you up. I want to, you know, there's enough for all of us. Basically, there's enough work for all of us. And I'm very quick on like, I will refer people out to them. You know, I want everyone to be successful too. So I love that, you know, what is the future potential for my business being the 6 of Pentacles. Now, the card number 9 is going to be what new opportunities exist. And this is strength reversed. So here it talks about vulnerability, self-doubt, weakness, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, feeling inadequate, impotence, and being bullied. Now, this is kind of hard. I'm not going to say this isn't a hard energy to kind of look at because I will potentially be going through a major medical procedure sometime next year, I'm hoping. And I had planned on trying to do it like in the summertime, but I feel like it may have to be a little bit sooner. I don't think I can continue waiting. And so to me, that does make me very vulnerable because of the work that I do. I'm hoping that the clients I have built up will be patient with me and maybe work with me. They don't have to, and that's fine. It's all good. I completely understand. But it's a very interesting thing because it is hard. It is hard to kind of say, hey, will you put your life on hold for me for 2 months or whatever while I heal or whatever. I know that it's a lot to expect from people. So there's a little bit of this vulnerability that's going along with that. That's a little bit challenging. I will not lie. And I am a little bit like, how can I broach this subject with people and how will it go, basically? All right, so overall, card number 10 is where's my business heading in the next 6 to 12 months? Here we have the Lovers. This is major choices, being put to the test, kindred spirits, partnerships, relationships, you know, shared connection, shared values. My personal value systems lead me to love. And I like to look at the Lovers card as the energy of 6, right? Which is about aligning ourselves with things that we really love. It is about that balance. It is about connecting and communicating in a way that makes sense with the people that we surround ourselves with. And it's, you know, about the connections that we're building. So I think that this is talking about, you know, maybe looking at not trying to do everything alone. I have very much struggled with opening myself up to, you know, having help, and it wasn't something that really worked out for me previously. So I've kind of like pulled the reins back on that, but I may have to. And maybe this is kind of like saying like, hey, you may have to like, you know, open yourself up to the possibility of having a little bit of help while you heal, so that at least there's some sort of income coming in, and then kind of moving on from that. So I hope this makes sense. Let me know if you've ever done a business planning spread. I think it's great to do one at like the end of the year, beginning of the year, to kind of figure out like what to do, what to focus on. If you ever need clarification or whatever, always pull extra cards. You don't just have to pull these cards. If there's questions in here that don't really make sense for what you're doing, take them out, you know, whatever. Again, you can do whatever you want. It's your tarot practice or your, you know, intuitive practice. So do what you need. I want to say thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate you guys watching these videos. Please take care, stay safe, and as always, make good choices. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.